Alright, it's Mr. Bernay. Alright, so the last video we talked about how to find the area of a circle. Now we're going to talk about the circumference, or the distance around the circle. You can kind of think of circumference as the perimeter of the circle. So let's look at our cheat sheet book here. Okay, circumference, the distance around a circle. Again, it's like the perimeter. It's going around, we're not covering. Here we have a few different formulas. If you have the diameter, the formula is circumference equals pi times d, which stands for diameter. If you have the radius, your formula is circumference equals 2 times pi times r, which stands for radius. Remember that radius is the distance from the middle to the outside, and diameter is the distance all the way across the circle. Alright, so let's try a few examples. To find the diameter of the circle. Sorry, the circumference of the circle. So in number 1, we have the radius. Our radius is 3 meters. So that's enough information to find the circumference. So again, let's look at the cheat sheet book. We have the radius. What formula are we going to use? Let's use this one. 2 times pi times r, because we have the radius. And r stands for radius. So our formula is going to be circumference equals 2 times pi times r. Alright, so let's do our substitution. We see that our radius is equal to 3. And pi is equal to 3.14, like always. Our radius is 3. Alright, so now this is all just multiplication. Even though we have these parentheses here, it's just to separate this number from the others. This number sentence reads 2 times 3.14 times 3. So we know, according to our order of operations, that we can just multiply straight across. So let's use the calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 3 equals 18.84. 18.84. So we found our circumference of this circle. Remember, circumference means the distance around. So the distance around this circle is 18.84 meters. Alright, and this is a circumference, not an area problem, so our label is just meters, not meters squared, because we're going around, we're not covering. Alright, so let's try another example. Let's try number 2. Okay, number 2, we have a diameter. The last one we had a radius for number 1, the distance from the middle of the circle to the outside. For number 2, we have a diameter, or the distance all the way across the circle. So let's see what formula we want to use for number 2. Okay, so we look for the circle as our shape. We're trying to find the circumference of the circle. And we have the diameter, so we're going to use this formula. Circumference equals pi times d, which stands for diameter. Alright? So, circumference equals, let's write out our formula, pi times d, which stands for diameter. Alright, we have our formula. We're ready to plug in our numbers. We're ready to do our substitution. Pi is 3.14. And our diameter is 10 centimeters. 10 centimeters. So again, this is just multiplication. This number sentence reads 3.14 times 10. And let's do this the long way. Let's do this the long way just to give you an example of how to do that. 3.14 times 10. 0 times 4 is 0. 0 times 1 is 0. 0 times 3 is 0. We're going to add another 0 for our placeholder here. Now, 1 times 4 is 4. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 3 is 3. We add all of our numbers together, and we count how many numbers we have to the right of the decimal in our original problem. Well, we have 2 numbers. We have to have the same amount of numbers to the right of our decimal in our answer. So we're going to move our decimal 2 places to the left, and we're going to wind up with the answer 31.4. 31.4. 31.4 is our circumference. So for number 2, the circumference is 31.4 centimeters. 31.4 centimeters. And we have our formula, our substitution, and our answer, so we're good to go. And that's how you calculate circumference.